Good morning. Okay, so like I'm confused. Is this July, middle of July, or is this like September, October, or March, or... Wow, this is just the most interesting weather. For all you people out at YouTube, I mean, we're talking like 70s, low 80s. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's kind of nice, but wow, what a departure from where it should be this time of year. And it's been like this all July, which is even weirder. So strange. We still have all those chairs in the back that we need to get rid of. You know, the chairs we used to have in the back of the church here. So if you know anybody that wants chairs, needs chairs, tell them we have chairs. And if they want to give a donation, great, but mostly we just want to get rid of them. So, okay. More t-shirts, sweatshirts, and pillows, and all kinds of different things you can do this, say. Okay, what is the word no you speak of? I don't understand. And of course, little baby gizmachis, and says, I just did 9 months on the inside. And on a pillow, when a child is born, so is a grandmother. So, and that is true. It's frequently one of the few reasons to have kids, actually. So. Okay. Before you judge me, make sure you're perfect. Tomorrow, and they have it grammatically spelled out, a mythical land where I get all my stuff done. I was normal 3 cats ago. Silently judging you. And picture of a witch on a broomstick, and it said, if the broom fits, ride it. And I always mean what I say. Sometimes I don't mean to say it out loud. Probably the truth. And we do have a couple patron saints by the name of George Carlin and John Lennon. And John said, as usual, there's a great woman behind every idiot. And George, the future will soon be a thing of the past. Absolutely true. Absolutely. Okay. Yes. Things that make you go, George Bernard Shaw. The man who listens to reason is lost. Reason enslaves all whose minds are not strong enough to master her. I know. I had to read it twice. Like, okay, yeah, I know. It's a bit obscure, and just because George Bernard Shaw said it doesn't mean it's cool. So, okay. The man or woman who listens to reason is lost. Reason enslaves all whose minds are not strong enough to master her. It's a bit contemplative. Nothing is more dangerous than an idea when it's the only one we have. Colleges hate geniuses, just as convents hate saints. I know, it's like, okay. And that was Ralph Waldo Emerson. Okay, these are smart people. I know. Colleges hate geniuses, just as convents hate saints.
Which they don't.
Well, I know. It's a kind of a play on words and silly thought going. Oh, speaking of Sandra,
The same?
we have 16 dozen eggs in back. Really?
4 out of 16.
We had 16 dozen. We have 4 left. So, 4 dozen eggs, yes. 4 eggs, yeah. The things we know best are things we haven't been taught. So. All right. I know, yeah, too deep. Need waiters. Many early Roman merchants built up enterprises that were quite large, even by modern standards. Their ships sailed all the known seas, and their great warehouses were filled with both staple goods and rare articles for the luxury trade. No phase of their operations was more vexatious Can't hardly say it. Then the keeping of accounts. The cumbersome system of Roman numerals were made addition difficult and multiplication all but impossible. Few businessmen attempted to keep anything resembling a ledger. Instead, they kept up with the shipments and receipts by arranging little rows of limestone pebbles or called calculi. Centuries of use only slightly modified the term and emerged into modern commerce as to calculate. So, now you know where that silly word came from. Some of you know this, others might not, I don't know. Synesthesia is a rare condition in which stimuli to one sense are perceived by the other senses. Synesthetes can smell words, taste colors, or even see music. And it is. It's really quite interesting. Quite interesting. If you're too open-minded, your brains will fall out. Yeah. That explains a lot. Don't worry about what people think. They don't do it very often anyway. Going to a church doesn't make you a Christian any more than standing in a garage makes you a car. Artificial intelligence is no match for natural stupidity.
Right.
My idea of housework is to sweep the room with a glance. Okay, and remember all this stuff, if you like it, thank you because you all sent it to me. If you don't like it, it's your fault. So, there you go. Man came into a shop with a salesman wanted sign in a window. He went up to the owner and said, "Hi, I want the job. I don't know if this would suit you or not because of your speaking impediment," said the owner. "I have a wife, 6 kids, and really need this job." "Okay, here's 3 Bibles. Go out and sell them," said the owner. So the man went out, came back an hour later. "Here's my money," said the man. The owner was impressed, so he gave the man a dozen more Bibles and sent him out. Came back 2 hours later and said, "Here's your money." The owner said, "This is fantastic. You sold more Bibles in 3 hours than anyone else has done in a week. Tell me, what did you say to the people when you came to their door?" "Well," said the man, "I rang the doorbell and said, 'Hello, ma'am. Do you want to buy this Bible? Or do you want me to read it to you?'" That's pretty silly. That's pretty silly. And no, I wasn't making fun of anybody. It's just a silly story. It was good. Thank you. Besides, that one's Josie's fault.
That was a good one. Okay, next Sunday, July 17th, barbecue time.
Yay!
We have hamburger patties, we have turkey burgers, and we have hot dogs. If anybody is needing to do like veggie burgers or anything like that, you will need to bring those, and then we'll throw them on the grill for you. I have a sign-up sheet here. We're going to need some side dishes to go with it. I would not worry about the main dish part of it because the hamburgers and hot dogs are going to be that, unless you're just not into that kind of thing. Salads, desserts. We do need one more sign-up. I've written it in there for hot dog buns and hamburger buns. That's one thing that we didn't get this time from Costco, so we will need to have that. And sliced tomatoes and onions and lettuce oftentimes get forgotten. So I wrote it in, so if you just like to write, bring that, just write your name in. Otherwise, if you're going to be able to bring something, just go ahead and write your name in and what you're going to be bringing so we can kind of get a count of what all we have. So I'll go ahead and pass that around. Thank you.
Good morning. This afternoon we're going to be doing A-Ward practice here at the church, and that's for all the students that came to the A-Ward process. We could use people to practice on, So if you would like to come and experience this is a very simple way to get rid of emotions that you don't know where they're coming from. We'd be delighted if you could come join us between 1 and 4 this afternoon. Thank you.
Rise. Thank you. I think it needs de-squeaking. Well, I got nothing. All week, working on stuff and had a cold. Got over it really fast. Thank you for all your prayers. That was wonderful. Fastest cold ever. So I've been just praying. You know, what works for me is I just usually after Sunday services I kind of just take Sunday afternoon and go, ugh. And then Monday morning it's like, okay, show me what we need to talk about. What would be good for us to hear? What's important for us to know? So kind of did that all week. Last night, be really good. Send me something. I'll sleep on it. See what happens. Woke up this morning. A couple of random thoughts. Because usually when a message comes through, it comes through and it goes, bam! And it's like, oh, that's awesome. I'm so excited to share that. Remember, I usually come up here and I'm really excited to share something. And there'll be a thought, and I'll go, oh, that's an important thought. And it'll just kind of sit in my energy field. And, oh, here's a thought. And then if I need to talk about it, it'll ignite or it'll trigger, and I'll remember to say it. If it's not important, or this particular group or this particular audience doesn't need that information, it kind of dissipates, goes away. Hey, haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. So, nothing. Had a few random thoughts, and, well, that might be good to talk about. Maybe not. So, got up this morning, I thought, well, you know, suit up, show up. That's what we do. Nothing. So I thought, well, I'll just read the good book, see what comes up. So I read a little bit about blessed are the peacemakers, all that stuff. Yeah, well, that was really nice. Just no big zap. And so I was telling Phil, I got nothing. You know, is there anything, you got anything? Well, you talk about change, changing the weather, changing life. Yeah, good. That kind of went on by. So I got my Bible, was getting ready to walk out the door, and this note fell out of it. I don't know what I'm doing. No clue. Not my handwriting, somebody else's handwriting. I have no idea where that came from. I have no idea why it was in my Bible. Kind of fitting. Kind of fitting. And then on the way into church, I'm texting with Lynn Spicer, because she had agreed to do the guided meditation today, and she says, I've got nothing! Now what do we do? I just laughed. I said, well, we see what Spirit has to offer. So I kind of had a laugh about that. Then I told her about the note. 2 seconds later, she texts back, oh my gosh, I'm sitting at the computer, it's all coming through. Okay, so that's good. Then I've read the guided meditation she's going to do today. Oh my gosh, fun stuff. So then I get through texting her, and there's a post on Facebook from May. And here's what May says. She says, I'm feeling blessed. God is faithful to supply your needs, physically, spiritually, and financially. So there you go. There's our message. So what do you want to know? What can we talk about? What would you like to talk about? Since it's an open field, nothing has been downloaded. And here, I do need to tell you this. It's not like I feel like God's ignoring me. It's not telling me anything. I'm just so frustrated. No, it's like funnier than heck. Because I feel this presence, and I feel this like energy, and it's like, do we need to talk about this? Well, you could. What about this? Could we talk about that? Well, yeah, you could. So the connection's still there. Just because I'm not getting an answer, a specific answer, doesn't mean I'm not connected in. Doesn't mean that God doesn't love me anymore. Doesn't mean that I'm not in the flow. It just means I get to wait. So you had your hand up in the back? Yeah. What do you want to talk about? Personal growth? Well, there's a lot to say about that. What about you?
Not knowing.
Feeling it's not okay not to. I think that's part of spiritual growth, the not knowing. There's more here, I think. Yes, ma'am. Staying positive in the middle of negativity. That would be spiritual growth, and that would be the not knowing. That would be the not knowing. Yes, Josie, okay. About being an archer and missing the mark. I'm repeating it for the microphone, or for the recording. And you know the term sin means missing the mark. It doesn't mean like you're a horrible, terrible person. Just aim higher, or aim better. Who else? Yes, Kelly. Not being overwhelmed by the negativity. Staying positive, yes. Gia. Ignoring the ability to have spiritual growth. La, 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 la. Oh, I'll just do it my way. Yes, we've all done that. Dan? Needing to wait as an okay answer. Oh, we hate that. I hate that. Over here, yeah? Being the bright star in a dark night. I love that. Did that give you goosebumps? We were in Dream Quest yesterday. Dream Quest was like, awesome, I just love that class. This is so much fun. Anyway. And we were doing some stuff, and out of the blue, Roy says, be a bright star in the dark night. And it was goosebumps, profound stuff. Yes, because that's all about spiritual growth, personal growth, avoiding negativity, and waiting for the answer. What else? Yeah. Letting go and accepting. Dang, I hate that. But yeah, you're right. Yes. Phyllis. Feeling disconnected from source. May.
I was just going to say reconnecting.
Reconnecting to source. I'm sensing a theme. Yes, sir.
I have dreamed that I was on time for something, but then I thought I could do additional things, and by doing additional things, I actually missed the whole thing.
Missed the whole thing. So he thought he was on time for something, and then he thought, well, he'll do some additional things, and then he ended up missing out. Wow, that's a profound collection of ideas here. And I think they all kind of flow together, don't they? So if we feel disconnected, it's impossible to have personal spiritual growth. If we feel like we're waiting and we're not okay with waiting, it's hard to have that spiritual growth. So let's talk about spiritual connection then. What is spiritual connection? I think sometimes we think it has to be a certain thing and it's not. The second we get into expectation of what it should be, we're screwed. Because it doesn't have to look the same way twice. And what works for me may not work for you. Your spiritual connection gets to be your spiritual connection, and God's going to talk to you in the way that you can receive it. Not, I'm going to use my way. I'm going to use a way that you can receive that. So that spiritual connection, what does that feel like? Let me just get my chart. It was here for a reason, huh? Don't you love it? Don't you love it? Okay. So, what do you do for spiritual connection? Meditate. Pray. Whoops. What? Walk. Joy. Music. Huh? Church. Go to the old church. Go to church. Pets. Critters. Critters. Okay, what do you do? What does it feel like when you're disconnected?
Like everything's going wrong.
Okay, that's too much. Hold on. Okay, it sucks. Confusion. Worry. Overload. Isolation. Huh? Darkness. Heavy. Empty. These came a little faster than the other. Did you notice that? I think we have more experience with this one than we do with the other one. And I don't know that this is necessarily spiritual connection. I think these are doorways to that. So let's say you use a doorway to spiritual connection. How does that spiritual connection feel? Hold on, I need another page. I got a whole brand new chart. Peaceful. I love it. Settled. Without having to settle for anything. Let's love it. What was the other one? Contentment. Joy. Present. Love it. Knowing. Light. Included. Grounded. I'm trying to write really fast, so you may not be able to read it. Harmonious. Okay, so there's probably more. Let's stop with that. Why would we choose this? Why? Why do we choose that? It's a choice, you know. Do we not know it's a choice? We're trained to. Said who trained us to do that? Watch this. Magic. Watch this magic. I believe in magic. This one over here. So we choose this because we've been trained to do that. Well, you know what? Does somebody sit around and say, okay, now I have to train all the people in my life to be miserable? No. No. Whenever we stop this, doing the peaceful, settled, contentment, joy, present, knowing, light, included, grounded, harmonious, and loved, we're automatically going to go there. Life happens. And sometimes life is really, Sakola, top number over there, sucks. It does. The thing is, when we're connected, that has no power over us anymore. This has power. This gives us power and regenerates power. So this is one of the things I was thinking about this week. I'm sorry, I'm moving around too much. We allow people, places, and things to take our power. If this is power, and we get over there, what happens between here and there? Because, you know, we don't wake up with it, you know, I think I'm going to suck today. I think I'm going to be empty and confused. That's my choice today. I'm going to do that. That's my plan for the day. No, we don't plan that. Life happens. And you know, sometimes other people are empty. And when they're empty, they need to take power from something. And rather than taking it from source, they could suck the life right out of you. With a harsh word, a negative comment, a criticism. And maybe they don't intend that, but that happens. Now that's only one section of it. Then there's the aches and pains of just being alive, right? Life hurts, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It hurts. So how do we get from there back to here? And I think that's this chart. We do the work. We do the work. We walk through the doorways back to here. But it becomes a choice. This is a natural default. If I'm hanging out with negative people, I'm going to naturally default because that's the energy. If you put water in a tube that's shaped like a U, water will seek its own level. You put two people in the same room, one has energy up here and one has energy down here. Guess what? That happens. So if you're going to be around people and you know they're down here, it's important to be in a safe place yourself energetically, and there's lots of ways to allow yourself to find that safety. Let me tell you the most important way. The easiest way. Somebody says, well, you build shields. Oh, shields take energy to prepare. Take energy to sustain. Truth. Remember the good book says, truth shall set you free? The truth will set you back into this state of mind, because if you're stuck over here, if I'm stuck over here, I don't want to do this stuff. I don't want to pray. I'm not talking to you. Right? Been there? I don't want to go for a walk. I don't want to have any fun. I'm not there. I don't want to. You can't make me. Right? Isn't that what we do? So we can't do this to get to there because we're there. But we can look at the truth. What's the truth? Okay, my spouse is having a bad day. He gets to. That's not who I am. Who am I? Who am I? I am a being of love and light. So what's the truth about you? You know, a few weeks ago we did the embedded negative self-talk that we tell ourselves and that gets embedded in our chakras. Remember us doing that? And then we looked at the truth of what that is. I've had some one-on-ones with people about that later, and that's profoundly powerful. Profoundly powerful. So what's the truth of who you are? Because if we know the truth of who we are, we can get out of there. But if we don't know who we are, then we'll go there. It's just natural life. That's what we do. Yes, sir.
There's one thing that I've seen in common
Yes.
with this list and this list,
Yes.
and that's a belief I hold within me.
A belief. I could choose. I can go with this, or I can go with that. I can go with this, or I can go with that.
I'm not a victim of this. I hold this in place because it's a belief.
I hold this in place because it's a belief. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? So how do we change our thinking? How do we change our belief system? Because the world is going to throw you evidence that says, this is where you need to be. Everybody else around you might be there. What can we change within us? Listen, and listen to what? Listen to this. Talk to somebody who loves you and can reflect back to you the truth of who you are. Because sometimes we don't know. We think we're that. We think we have to be that. We have to stay there. What is it? What is it you said? Roy, tell me again. And interestingly enough, what I was reading this morning. Don't you love this stuff? I'm sure it's just an accident. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill that cannot be hidden. If you forget who you are, that's where we are. That's not the truth of it. The truth of it is you're light. And you have a right to be here. This is your destiny. This is your inheritance. This is where I belong. And if someone is telling you something that makes you believe that, they're the dark night. Be the star you are. You came here to be the bright star in a dark night. Not to let the dark night extinguish you. Here's the deal. If you're in a dark room and you turn on a light switch, what happens? Darkness vanishes. It cannot exist where there's light. Cannot. It is energetically impossible. It cannot exist where there's light. So even if you're in the negative situation, everybody's whining and complaining, be the light. What does the light do? What does the action light does? It shines, honey. I'm going to stick this one out. Stick it on my forehead. What does light do?
Shows the way.
Oh, thank you, Joe. Shows the way. Oh, I have lots to say about the way. Another day on that one, I think. Focus. Evidence to the truth. What's the truth? What's the truth? See, there's different kinds of truth. There's the little truth. This is my truth. I believe. And then there's your truth. That's what you believe. And then there's the truth, capital T, truth, that transcends whatever you personally believe. Like the truth that you're light. That transcends any truth that you may believe that you're unworthy. That's the truth. This is the truth that transcends all of that. So being the light. So somebody's whining and complaining and gossiping at work. What do? Well, that's one thing to do. That protects you, saves you. But if you're going to be the light in a dark place, you say, that's not my experience of that person. So well, that person loaned me $1 when I needed it the other day. And then you walk out. Drop that light bulb and run, honey. Right? Yes, ma'am. Nobody listens to anybody telling them what to do. I'm not going to listen to anybody telling me what to do. Show the way. Show the way. Be the light. Be the kitten. Be the light. Right? So show the way. And you show the way by doing the right thing. Whatever the right thing might be. Now here's the deal. I believe one person can make a difference. If you're in a job that's succola and looks like that, you're there for a reason. If you've sent out 100 resumes and you can't get a job anywhere else, you haven't done that yet. You haven't been released from that yet because you're there for a reason. Show the way. Be the light in a dark place. You came there to show them a different way. A good way, as the Native Americans would say. Not my way is the only way, but here's a good way. Do a good way. Be kind. Be generous. Be open-hearted. Right? If you're in a family situation where everybody's backbiting each other. You been there? Today. What do we do in that situation? What would love do? Kick them in their butt. Here's the deal. Sometimes love has to have a boundary. And sometimes a boundary is different than a preference. Let me tell you about that a little bit. This ran through my head earlier this week. A boundary is something that says, this is not okay with me, we're done. A preference is like, I would really prefer that it was different. For example, let's say Joe's wearing a blue shirt. I don't like blue. You should change that shirt, Joe, because I don't like blue. That's my boundary. It's like, that's not a boundary. I can't make him change his world because I don't prefer blue. That's not a boundary. That's trying to make somebody else fit into my mold. Doesn't work. People resent that, hate it. They're not going to respond well to that. But you know, I could just say, that's a nice shirt, Joe. I love blue, by the way. But if somebody's saying negative stuff to you, it's time to think, do I need to set a clear boundary here? I'm uncomfortable with this. You don't have to say, you cannot treat me this way. Oh, like that's going to work? No. Kind of points over there, doesn't it? But to say, you know, I'm really uncomfortable with this conversation. I really love you. I'm going to go in the other room. That's fair game. That's fair game. Right? Being the light. I love you. I'm just not in harmony with this conversation. I think I'll be in the other room. Come on and see me if you want to. Whatever. Plug the headphones in. Right? Be the light. Be the star in a dark place. That's what you came here to do. That's what you came here to do. And you know what? People will see that light. And if we're standing in the light, if we're being in the light, that gives people a chance to shift. Because if somebody's not in the light and they're hurting, they're going to be here. They aren't there because they love being ugly and mean. They're there because they're hurting. Stop feeding the pain and show the way. Right? Right? So let's do a guided meditation. Are you ready?